It's Harvard lawyer Lee, and today I'm going to be bringing you news from the first day of the trial between Hollywood actor Johnny Depp and actress Amber Heard. It kicked off today in Fairfax County, Virginia. Johnny Depp says he lost his signature role of Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean, the series, 4 days after Amber Heard defamed him in an op-ed piece in the Washington Post. Amber Heard says that Johnny Depp and his attorney defamed her by saying she was lying when she accused him of beating her. So the trial started today, but if you watched the court TV feed of it, you saw pretty much nada. It just showed pictures of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard arriving separately and walking into the courthouse, and they showed that all day. Then it showed pictures of them walking out of the courthouse at the end of the day. So, did nothing happen? Not at all. Something critically important was happening today. It's just that nobody got to see it outside of the people actually involved in the courtroom. Now, why is that? What was happening was jury selection. That is critically important, but to preserve the privacy and confidentiality of the jurors, the court does not allow video of that questioning. But here's what we know about the jury questioning. We know that they asked jurors about whether they had heard about the case and what they had heard about the case. We also know that they asked jurors whether they had formed an opinion about the case. Very standard questions in jury selection. They also, in this case, asked questions about Heard's sexuality. She had a female partner before Depp, then she was married to Depp and linked to several men, including Elon Musk, but now has a female partner. And they asked if that would bias anyone on the jury. Now, the judge brought in a panel of 40 potential jurors, which was actually pretty small for a case of this magnitude. But each side was given 5 strikes per side. Now, traditionally, you think of a jury as having 12 people on it. But in Virginia, there are 7 people on a civil jury trial. The judge wanted not just the 7 people on the jury, but also 4 alternates. Then at the end of the trial, there will be a decision. The 7 people who are the actual jurors will be told who they are. They'll be seated and the 4 alternates will be dismissed unless they've lost some jurors along the way. That's why the alternates are there, in case they are needed, because someone gets sick or there's some reason why they lose a juror. This trial is expected to last several weeks, so it could happen. Someone could have an illness or a death in the family and could have to leave the trial in the middle. This was very quick for picking a jury in a case this complicated. When you think about it, a unanimous decision is required. Clear and convincing evidence is required. I am guessing if it was done this fast that the court kept a very tight rein on the jury selection. Lawyers don't like that. Lawyers hate that. They want to ask a lot of questions. They want to learn a lot about the jury because it's the jury that's going to decide the case. So let's talk about how jury selection traditionally works. Traditionally, both sides are going to ask questions of the jurors, and they're going to see what the jurors have to say about a number of topics. Then they're each going to take turns making what's called strikes or peremptory challenges. And in practical terms, what happens is everybody on the jury is given, or in the jury pool, is given a number, and they come in that order, and then they're interviewed, and then the parties argue to the court that certain potential jurors just couldn't be fair. For something they said, some reason, they couldn't be fair. So an example would be maybe somebody is married to a paralegal in one of the law firms. And then you would say, well, that's just, they can't be fair. And you ask the court to take those potential jurors out of the pool. The reason you want the judge to do that is you don't want to use up your strikes. As a lawyer, you've only got a limited number of strikes. You get to strike usually somewhere between 3 and 6 people from the jury. These are people that you just feel would not be favorable, could not be fair to the person you represent. That's who you're going to strike. If the court doesn't strike a juror and you think that juror would not be fair to you, you have to use up one of your strikes. And then when everybody is finished doing the strikes, the judge seats the first remaining 12 jurors. So if juror 4, 8, 15, and 17 all were not struck, then those are the first ones to go on, and so forth. Now, let's talk about who got struck from this jury. We know from reporting from people who were allowed to be present that one potential juror said he had heard general details that Depp was beating Amber Heard and lying about things. Now, he said he would try to keep an open mind, but the court struck him. I agree with that decision. That seems a little too much like he had already formed an opinion. But there was another man who said that just before jury selection, his wife texted him, "Amber is psychotic. If a man says a woman beat him, they never believe him." But the man said he could be fair and that his wife would understand if he sided with Amber simply because it would be the right thing to do. So the court left the man in the jury pool. I know that judges do that. That seems like a questionable call, I think. The man's wife had texted him an opinion about the merits of the case before it had even been heard. So that was a closer call. I have a question. How would you pick a jury here? What kind of jurors do you think would favor Johnny Depp? And what kind of jurors do you think would favor Amber Heard? I'm curious. What do you think? If you had to make a profile for the perfect juror for Johnny Depp, who would you pick? If you wanted the perfect juror for Amber Heard, who would you pick? So only after the judge has ruled on all of those things can the jury be seated and the trial begin. But in this case, they've done it. They did it in one day. They did it fast. So we will be starting the trial tomorrow, and I will be bringing you up-to-date information about what happens in the trial. You need to subscribe so that with the notifications on to make sure you don't miss any of the important details that will be coming out about this trial. If you like this video, enjoyed the content, please like it and definitely subscribe. You're going to want to keep up with this trial. It's a big one.